of November. I'm Stephen Ridgway. Yet more malware being advertised via Google Ads. Watch out, there's a fake version of the CPU-Z app, which is... so the real CPU-Z app is a tool that administrators can use to understand monitor hardware components, fan speeds, CPU clock rates, voltages, cache, those sorts of things. There is, however, a very realistic looking fake site which has managed to make its way into Google Ads again. As we've said before, Google Ads, despite Google's clear intentions to clamp down on malware being advertised, they haven't been 100% successful with that. This particular ad, the advertiser is identified as being verified by Google, so you would look at it and think, okay, maybe it is okay. So however, it isn't. If you do try to download this, you're taken to a very realistic looking download site, but of course the URL is wrong. So if you know what you're looking for, you can spot what's going on. If you download the malware and install it, it contains a PowerShell script that's been identified as the fake bat malware loader. And of course, once you've got a malware loader, there's the world is their oyster, as it were. So there's a very good article in Bleeping Computer that has identified some of the domains which may be associated with the lookalike site. So those might be things to look out for. Also, there's a bit of a breakdown of the redirection steps, so you can get a feel for how this particular piece of malware will end up with you. And also, there is some indicators of compromise around digitally signed installer. So quite useful article if you are tempted to use these sorts of tools for whatever reason. Be aware of this. The ultimate goal of this appears to be, by the way, to download and run the Redline Stealer, which it's a powerful data exfiltration data stealer tool. Collects passwords, cookies, browsing data, sensitive information from cryptocurrency wallets, and all sorts of other bits and pieces. Be aware. Keep an eye out. If you are using this, make sure you're using the legit version. So the Clop ransomware group, were very active in exploiting the MOVEit vulnerabilities. Recently, they have moved on, as you would expect them to, because even the almost bottomless barrel of MOVEit, vulnerable MOVEit devices, will run out eventually. So they're now actively exploiting SysAid 0-day. SysAid is it offers IT help desk and support services, automation for organisations across a variety of data-sensitive sectors: healthcare, human resources, higher education, manufacturing, so on and so forth. So SysAid said yes, there are patches available, and you need to ensure that your systems are patched to version 23.3.36, which remediates the vulnerability that has been identified as the entry point for this particular attack. So if you are using that particular tool set, check for patches, apply patches. The article in Dark Reading does have a bit of a grumble about the speed of patching things in on-prem versus in the cloud. I would counter their statement with, if it's on-prem, you control it, so you patch it when you want to. If it's in the cloud, it gets patched when your service provider chooses to patch it, which is good, but you've got no say in it. So yeah, but makes for interesting reading anyway. And then finally, from me, nice short one today. We have discussed on this briefing the pros and cons of paying ransoms to ransomware gangs if your data has been breached and encrypted. There is no absolute right answer. It is, in the end, you have to take a business risk approach to whether you do or don't pay for the data. However, two caveats, which we've talked about these a bit, but it's worth keeping them in your mind. If you pay, there's no guarantee that you'll be able to recover your data. Okay. There's no guarantee that the data will be in a consistent state. You don't know what's happened to the data during the process when the malware was running in your environment. Okay. And finally, you are relying on trust that if you pay up, they won't just release the data or sell the data anyway. Now, we're talking about doing business with criminals, right? So, whilst from a criminal free market perspective, if the majority of companies that pay up don't get their data back, or their data gets back and it's all been corrupted or altered or messed with, or they pay and the data gets released anyway, eventually that undermines the market and people look at it going, do you know what, this is just going to happen anyway. Well, I'm in the camp of it is probably going to happen anyway, so what's the point in paying? You can't trust the data if you get it back. You have absolutely no guarantees that even if the group that stole your data doesn't sell it on, who's to say that it won't get stolen from the group that stole it from you? They're not going to delete it. That's ridiculous to consider that. So yeah, I would say don't. And here we have a perfect example of a case where this is actually what has happened. So Dolly.com, they offer, it's a US site offering on-demand moving and delivery services, covering about 45 cities in the US. They suffered a ransomware from a ransomware attack. They have allegedly paid up for the ransomware, but the ransomware group decided that the amount that they had asked for and the amount that was paid wasn't enough, and so they went on and released the data anyway. So high level account login details, credit card information, customer addresses, names, registration dates, user emails, and a bunch of system data has been released even though the organization paid the ransom. So if you are in that situation, I do not envy you. It's a horrible position to be in. It's very difficult decisions that have to be made. But bear in mind that you're not negotiating with people who are renowned for being trustworthy. Otherwise, they wouldn't have nicked your data in the first place. So, hope you have a great weekend. It's Armistice Day tomorrow, so I shall be observing the 2 minute silence. Hopefully, you will all as well, and I hope you have a good weekend, and I shall be back with you on Monday morning.